Hi everyone, and welcome to lesson 6 of Violent Planet. And today we're going to be looking at earthquakes. We're going to look into more detail on earthquakes later on, but we're going to be looking at something called the 3 Ps, okay? And these images here will start to help you. So could you please write the title, and can you yourself try and work out what the 3 Ps mean? So title earthquake 3 Ps, and then replay the video. Okay, welcome back. So at the beginning of each lesson I'll go over our objectives. All of you will define the meaning of predict, protect and prepare. Well done if you got those. Those are our 3 Ps. Most of you will be able to independently summarize information about the 3 Ps, and then finally some of you will be able to apply what you have learned to discuss why LICs, so low-income countries, are more vulnerable to the impacts of earthquakes. So let's get started and look at our three Ps and our extra 2 keywords. Our keywords today: predict, so using the equipment to monitor and try to guess when an earthquake might happen. Protect, methods to stop buildings from injuring or killing people. And prepare, knowing what to do when an earthquake happens. Example, evacuation drills, like a fire drill. And our other 2 key terms, HIC, so in high income country, this is a country with a lot of money. When you think of economy, it needs to be quite high. A lot of people making a lot of money, so please think of United Kingdom, USA, Europe. Whereas LIC, you're looking at more sub-Saharan Africa, Haiti, other countries where there's not high income, okay? So high income countries versus low income countries. What I would like you to do today is, for this task you will need a whole page of A4 paper, and I'd like you to just split it into 3 sections. The first will need to be predict, the second will need to be prepare, and the third will need to be protect. So could you please pause the video and do that for me quickly? Thank you. Okay, welcome back. So you should have your 3 columns here. What we're going to do today is look at different images with a little annotation, and you're going to sort them into either predict, prepare, protect. Is this item or this photo and description, is it a prediction method? Would it belong here? Is there a preparation method? Would it belong here? Or is it to protect? Would it go into this section? When writing them down, you will need to write the full sentence. Okay, the image is here to help you understand what they are. So there's 2 ways you can go about this. If you feel confident, you can move on yourself and you can go through each slide and try and sort out which goes in which, or you can listen to me read through them and possibly give a bit more of an explanation on others. So the first one we've got is a seismograph. They measure and record the ground movement. As you see, this little pen here that moves up and down. Okay, and you can see, you might have seen these before, or seen kind of the shapes of the vibrations, and they measure them, and the bigger the lines, the stronger the vibrations. And here we have this building in San Francisco shook sideways by over 1 meter in the last earthquake, but did not collapse because there's rubber in its foundation to absorb the shaking. So it gives it that, because it's not a solid base, it can move the vibrations easier and there's less chance of it collapsing. Here, many schools, hospitals and other public buildings have well-practiced evacuation plans in place, similar to the school where we have the fire drill if a fire happens. And next, some scientists, very old fashioned way of doing it without technology, is to monitor changes in animal behavior. Okay, our next 4, they use cross bracing, as you see here, like the X shape here, and this will help strengthen the building. Any of you do engineering, whether went to TechniQuest or Excel Wales, I think that was gone by the time you were born, but you would use connects, these little long plastic tubes where you connect them to each other. A cross brace was always more secure than just a traditional rectangle shape here. So the next one here, as you see, this is a tilt meter. It measures changes in the shape of the Earth's surface. So if they measure even the slightest tilt to the right or the left, it'll be measured on this tilt meter by checking the gradient and the slight movements on the Earth's surface. This obviously helps to show maybe a plate has moved and maybe an earthquake is on its way. Here, many homes and public places have an earthquake survival kit containing things like a torch and a whistle to attract attention if trapped, a blanket, and you can have a water purifier tablets in case broken sewer pipes contaminate the water supply in the immediate aftermath, so straight after. So these might have many different items in them and will be prepared in any home if you knew that your area was at high risk of earthquakes. Some buildings have shutters on windows to stop broken glass from falling onto people below. So the idea was to have shutters on the outside. In a protection method, if they knew an earthquake was coming or if there was an earthquake, they can shut those to make sure no windows would break and the small bits of glass would drop down and harm people. So it would keep it contained in the building. Measure gases escaping from inside the earth through cracks from previous earthquakes that are created along here. If there's an increase in gas, there's a good chance there could be movement occurring. People are taught to hide somewhere safe in their homes if they can't get out, like laid in the bath, so that falling beams will be stopped by the sides or under a table. This is to stop anything from falling from the top and injuring yourself, maybe hitting your head or any other body parts. There's different places to stand in the room. They avoid standing in the centre. There's always plans to stand near the corners. They are the most stable areas. And finally, seismic retrofitting. This means doing things to existing buildings to make them earthquake resistant. So it's adding extra steel reinforcements to the building's main frame. They're understanding more about what areas are the most frequent earthquakes, and they can adapt to that by editing and adding things to existing buildings. So on the next page I do have the answer sheet. I'd like you to pause the video here and then put what you believe the right sentences are in the right section, and then you can move on to the answer page, which is on the next slide. Good luck with the task. Make sure you can summarize the points, but make sure you get the right in each section. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, welcome back. So the answer sheet. Our seismograph, our tilt meter, our monitoring animal behaviour, and the measuring gas was all methods of predicting. It's almost identifying the movements before we actually start feeling them. So that is our predict category. Preparation. This is our understanding and what to do without any technology or without anything put in place to protect. This is just what we can do during an earthquake. So we can be prepared. We can prepare a survival kit. We prepare, for example, drills like fire drills, and we are prepared knowing where to go in the room, where's the safest areas to be. And then finally, protect. This is our buildings and our infrastructure. How can we add different things to make sure all people and buildings are safe in the area? So make sure you copy up the writing for each one to make sure you've got the right answers in the right column. And then when you're ready, press play. Okay, welcome back. So, we've looked at the 3 Ps, and now we're going to look at HICs versus LICs. All of them know how to protect, predict, and prepare, but some are more useful in others. So the question is, which do you think will be worse affected by earthquakes? So I'd like you to have a look at the buildings. I'd like you to think about the money. And I'd like you to think about the infrastructure. So the infrastructure, the buildings, the money, the amount of people. Okay? And then I would like you to add as many bullet points as you can on each side. So what difficulties, why might they be affected by earthquakes? Okay. So you've pressed play on the video to go through answers. Well done. So HICs like San Francisco, first thing I see on this image, we see the high-rise buildings. This is a risk during earthquakes because many of them could fall on people. what counteracts that in a HIC is the money they have to put in protection methods, such as many we looked earlier, such as cross sections on their building, extra support, rubber foundations, shutters on the outside to make sure glass doesn't fall down. So although they have the larger buildings which will cause more damage when they fall, they have more money, which means they can put in more protection. The next one with HICs, I also think about prediction. HICs have money, and money means more advancements in technology. So they might have a lot more prediction methods. They can afford many different seismographs, tilt meters, etc. So this makes it useful to get everyone prepared and be able to be more safe when an earthquake occurs. If we look at the LICs, we don't seem to have that technological advancement. So they might depend on monitoring animals or just hoping they understand as soon as movement comes what to do. So their best option is to just be prepared. There's a lack of protection, as you see from the housing, not as safe as the reinforced buildings here. There's also a lack of technology as any prediction. So the only option you've got is to prepare. So the points on here will be able to prepare, such as they will need to have good evacuation routes because you'll need to get away because nothing's protected. And they would also need to be prepared with survival kits, because as you can see, with low quality sewage systems, there's a high chance that pipes can be broken, water in the area can be destroyed, the housing isn't stable, that can be destroyed and cause debris to land in all the water, making it unclean to drink. So as we see, LIC, with the lack of money, a lot of issues can arise. So there's your bullet points on each side. Okay, the final task. LICs are more vulnerable to the impacts of earthquakes. To what extent do you agree with this statement? Explain your answer. So, you pick one of these sentence starters, not both. You are either going to strongly agree or you're going to strongly disagree. You need to look back at your points and think which one is more at risk. Your points are valid, every one you make. I just want your opinion on this. The statement says LICs are more vulnerable to the impacts of earthquakes. So I've started with addressing the question. I strongly agree that LICs are more risk because. And this is the key point where you start to explain your answer. Because you go back to your table and start to give those points. I don't want simple answers such as because the buildings are less stable. And then full stop. You need to go further than that. This means that there is more of a chance of buildings collapsing. It'll cost more in the long run to repair. Debris can fall into the water and start to pollute it. It can break pipes. This would then mean the water becomes unhygienic and people can get diseases and become ill. This is what I'd like you to think like. If you argued the other way, I strongly disagree. I think HICs could be more at risk because some of the main cities in HICs can have a much higher condensed population. So we look at London, New York. Although they are not in risk of earthquake, if we look maybe at San Andreas and we look at the population there, many of them are at risk. You would have a lot of tourism in the area. So you have a lot of people in the same area with a high population density, which can cause a lot of problems if one building falls. If you want to go back to I strongly agree that LICs are more at risk, you can move into because they have less money, this means they can't afford the prediction methods. The problem with this is, and then you go into detail, why is the problem not being able to predict something's going to happen? All they can do is just be prepared that at any time there might be a severe earthquake. So please choose one of the sections you've got here. Have a go at this. There is a model answer on the next page, but I'd like you to write your own first and then you can have a look at it if you have time at the end of the lesson. So please answer the question, give at least 3 valid points for your choice, and then that'll be you done for the day. I'm just going to ask you to pause the video and get on with your task, and when you press play, I'm going to be running through the model answer for you to compare yours to. Okay, thank you. Okay, welcome back. So, here's the model answer that I was given. I strongly agree that LICs are more at risk because the buildings here are not well built. This means they are more likely to fall on people, increasing the number of deaths. In addition, people do not have much money to rebuild and recover after an earthquake. Consequently, they often end up living in shanty towns made up of scrap material left over from the earth. In HICs, they have the 3 P's in place: predict, protect and prepare, because they have money to invest in such things. This means the risks to human life is far lower in HICs than LICs, and is therefore why I strongly agree with the above statement. So, that was our model answer. It gives solid 3 points for the LIC, and it referred to why a HIC is more safe. If you base your opinion on that, you shouldn't go far wrong. So, well done everyone. Thank you for listening to lesson 6. I will see you next lesson.